At the beginning of the film, an elderly woman is observed crawling in her flat as her legs seem too feeble to support her. She then attaches one end of a lengthy rope to a table and tosses the other end out the window, as if attempting to flee the apartment. Despite her advanced age and delicate physique, she manages to climb out and grasp the rope firmly. However, just as she is about to descend, her grip gives way and she falls. It appears as if she has passed away, but the camera pans to reveal that the rope has surprisingly kept hold of her leg. The old woman tries to reach the ground, but the rope drags her back into the flat, pulling her up the apartment. Welcome back to another thrilling recap. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Spoilers ahead, peeps. A young woman named Anna, 25, arrives at the apartment several months later to rent it, where she is greeted by the building manager, Mueller, and a current tenant. This elderly woman appears to be different from the one seen at the start of the movie. Anna inspects the room closely and finds it captivating. She becomes even more interested when Mueller mentions the apartment's low rent, which is located in central Vienna. Before signing the lease, Anna asks the old tenant why she is leaving, and the woman replies that she wants to see the world. Although Anna finds it peculiar that an elderly person wants to travel, she accepts the explanation. People these days often work well into their old age, so it's not that uncommon. Finally, Anna reveals that she is new to the city and has come with her ex-boyfriend. However, things didn't quite work out for her, and now she is all alone. Anna is telling her story, and the older woman becomes uneasy and inquires if Anna wants the apartment. Anna agrees, and the woman gives her the lease agreement. Anna tries to sign it, but the pen is faulty. The woman then offers her a spare pen, eager to conclude the transaction. She quickly gathers her belongings and exits happily. Mueller also leaves, reminding Anna to reach out to him if she requires any assistance. Anna sets to work cleaning and reorganizing the apartment. She brings in her belongings and begins painting the walls. However, the place is very dusty, so she discards some items, including a small cloth on a shelf. When she returns, the apartment has unexpectedly returned to its previous state. The new paint is dirty, the furniture is covered in dust, and the fresh fruit has gone bad. The piece of cloth from the shelf has reappeared. Although startled by the strange occurrence, Anna continues with the renovation. Anna is again driven to madness. Every time she takes out the garbage, the apartment becomes cluttered once more, causing her eyes to become wrinkled and dark from the labor. Tired, she falls asleep on the couch that night. The next morning, when the radio starts playing, she goes to turn it off and realizes that her face has changed dramatically. Infuriated, she confronts Mueller, the manager of the building, and accuses him of providing her with a haunted apartment. She requests her security deposit back, but Mueller refuses, pulling out the rental agreement, which states that a tenant cannot leave until a new tenant arrives. The clause is written in small print that requires a magnifying glass to read. Anna becomes angry and threatens to call the police, but Mueller is unaffected. Despite Mueller's warning, Anna ignores the contract and goes to a clinic to get a medical report to file a complaint with the police. However, the doctor claims that her wrinkles and gray hair are normal for a 25-year-old woman. When Anna shows her ID, she realizes that all the information has been erased. She goes to a hotel for the night, but has to pay extra for a room because she has no ID. During the night, she wakes up feeling weak and realizes she has aged to 80 years old. The next day, she returns to the apartment and confronts Mueller. He is not surprised by her condition and tells her she should have followed the protocols, which stated not to leave the apartment. The contract says that if a tenant leaves their apartment, they will age rapidly until they pass away. Mueller explains to Anna that the apartment doesn't like to be empty, and that's why a tenant must always be there. After the conversation, Mueller discovers his box of matchsticks is missing and rushes to Anna's apartment to find the door locked. Inside, the old Anna is trying to burn down the apartment, but when she lights a match, the house starts choking her. Mueller saves her by removing a piece of cloth from her mouth, which turns out to be the same cloth that always lies on the shelf. Oh man, that's why I never go for scarily extra cheap apartments. Mueller then reveals the history of the apartment. He explains that the apartment has been in existence for over a decade and has always had a tenant living in it. The apartment once housed some schoolgirls who all rapidly aged into old women within days. This caused a nationwide stir and even made headlines. A minister tried to destroy the apartment to end the sorcery, but was mysteriously found dead before he could act. This caused the government to keep the apartment's existence a secret and stopped any interference from the authorities, including the police. Mueller has been assigned as the caretaker of the apartment and must ensure that it has a constant tenant. He tells Anna that the only way she can escape the apartment is by finding a new tenant to take her place. Anna, now an old woman, puts on some makeup and seeks help from her ex-boyfriend Daniel that evening. Unfortunately, he doesn't even recognize her and says that he's in a hurry. Anna tries to reveal her real identity, but Daniel assumes that she's his ex-girlfriend's grandmother. At the same time, his new girlfriend arrives in her car to pick him up. It turns out that the two are also apartment hunting. Anna has the perfect opportunity to set them up and trap them in the apartments, but she doesn't say a word and lets them leave. Later at night, while Anna is sleeping, the radio again starts playing and some objects move by themselves. It turns out that the apartment is trying to be friends by preparing a lovely meal for her. When Anna wakes up, she finds food right next to her couch, but instead of eating it, she throws it away. However, when she learns that the apartment has also prepared some tea, she decides to try some. Anna slowly pours the tea into a cup and takes a sip. Surprisingly, she likes it, prompting her to pick up a biscuit from near the dustbin where she had disposed of the food earlier. Anna's too fragile and weak to cook food, and now she has started relying on her only friend, the apartments. Over the course of the next few days, Anna becomes extremely fragile and she requires a cane to walk. Her body looks as if she is over 100 years old. She stares at her wrists and notices something moving inside, so she starts peeling off her skin. Shockingly, the skin comes off without any effort, revealing a strange wire-like substance inside. Anna knows that her impending doom is near, so she calls Mueller over to her place. In the next scene, the couple finally arrives at the apartment to rent it out. They are revealed to be none other than Anna's ex-boyfriend Daniel and his new girlfriend. As usual, the two are enticed by the cheap rent and good furniture around the place. They also like the fact that no other tenants live in nearby apartments, which makes it extra peaceful. Hence, they agree to sign the contract. Mueller happily hands them over the rent agreement and Daniel gets ready to put pen to paper. Anna, who is watching everything transpire from nearby, suddenly has a flashback of the time where she was trapped. In a similar way, she recalls the pain and misery she has been through because of this doomed apartment. Hence, before her ex-boyfriend can sign his death warrant, she pours hot tea into his hand and thwarts him away. Anna then screams at the young couple to get out of her apartment and never come back. Daniel and his spouse are visibly stunned by the old lady's actions, but they leave without saying a word. With this, Anna loses her last chance to get out of this apartment. She could have trapped her ex-boyfriend and lived the last few days of her life in peace and tranquility, but she chose not to. This shows that her love for Daniel still exists and that she is ready to sacrifice her life and end the cycle of this wretched apartment. All the fear and stress that Anna experienced in recent weeks have dissipated, and she has finally come to terms with her fate. She kindly requests the apartment to be merciful, then heads towards the couch, which will be her final resting spot. The apartment soon commences its process. Anna passes away instantly, and her head is absorbed into the couch and becomes a part of it. Gradually, her body also blends into the couch. Only her clothes are left, and wires come out of her heart, automatically weaving themselves into the couch cushions. Her head transforms into a white cloth, and next to it are two identical white pieces of cloth, signifying that the apartment replenishes itself with its victims. But with no more victims, it is only presumed that the apartment will soon come to an end. Stay tuned for more content like this, turn on notifications, and give a thumbs up